Stephen Weideveld shares his journey with prostate cancer in his book, Taming the Shrew. Get your copy today with a small donation at worldwellnesseducation.org. Healing Journeys is presented by World Wellness Education, whose mission is to educate the world about wellness one story at a time. I am Tracy Brosman, and my guest today is Kathy Domenicucci, and she's going to share her healing journey from breast cancer. Welcome, Kathleen.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. And tell me, when you were diagnosed with breast cancer, it was a little unusual, right? Weren't they watching it for a while?
Well, yes, they were. I had a suspicious something in one of my breasts, and every year when I went for my checkup, it seemed to be not a problem. Until one year, maybe 3.5 years ago, when they thought this needs to be looked at a little bit closer.
So when you say a suspicious something, was it just through doing a breast exam that they were doing, or was it through a mammogram? What was it?
It was a mammogram, and when they saw it, they decided they should follow up with a sonogram, if my memory serves me correctly.
Okay. And so they did the sonogram, and then what happened?
Well, then they thought it was something to maybe do a procedure where they went in and they took a sample of it. And I'm not remembering the name of that procedure, but it was somewhat invasive. They went in there with a needle,
okay,
and they did a biopsy, and they decided at that point that it was cancerous, and they directed me to a surgeon.
Okay, and did you have the surgery?
Yes, I did. I had a
Okay.
great surgeon at Dartmouth Medical College.
Okay.
And she was wonderful. She did the surgery, a lumpectomy, and then I was directed to the oncologist and the radiologist, and it was at that point, because I have a background in nutrition and I understand the importance and how food can heal, that I knew that wasn't the way I was going to journey through this.
Wow, so because of your background, you knew that there was another way, but when you were in the doctor's office and they're telling you, did they say that they wanted to do chemotherapy or radiation, or what was their recommendation?
Both. And
Okay.
he was the surgeon, or the oncologist rather, was sharing some of the side effects that I could expect, and my
Right.
husband and I sat together, and we looked at each other and we decided, no, this won't be for us. And at one point my husband asked the doctor if he would do this procedure if it was his wife.
And what did the
And
doctor say?
the doctor said, it's not my wife. In other words, he wasn't going to answer the question. So
Wow.
at that point, we knew that probably wasn't going to be for me, and I started to investigate alternative methods of healing.
So your husband was on board the entire time, though?
Absolutely, yes.
That must have felt really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
What about other family members when you had told them that you weren't going to do the chemotherapy or the radiation? Were they on board as well?
Well, that's interesting because not everyone at first, because they're scared. Mm-hmm. And that's what happens when people are diagnosed. They're raced and rushed through different procedures and through different channels and seeing different doctors, and they get scared, and sometimes they act before they even know they have an alternative way to go. So my daughter is in healthcare. She's a nurse, and she was probably the most doubtful.
Right.
And however, it was our decision, and she said she would support us, Frank and I, and myself especially. So she came aboard, though, later on, as she watched a friend of hers die of cancer, and from breast cancer, and she knew that here I am thriving and getting healthier and looking better, and my skin was glowing, and she's like watching her friend die. And so at that point we knew that we made the right choice. Right. She knew. I always knew.
She knew.
Yeah.
But it must have still been really scary for you too with that diagnosis, and even though you knew nutrition was a way to heal, the doctors are telling you, one thing, and it's like, which way do you go?
Absolutely, yes.
So did you ever have any of those doubts?
Always have doubts. I'll be honest, you have doubts always. I think my whole life I might have doubts. You have a little something go on, you go, oh boy, but then you learn it's nothing at all. But when I told my surgeon what I had intended to do, she made a comment to me, and she said that, Kathy, I understand completely what you're doing because there's no money to be made in kale.
So there's no money in the nutrition side of things.
That's right. So to me, in my mind, that was her blessing. So, and the more research I did
And how did you do your research?
online,
Okay.
I heard about the Gerson Therapy, and that's the therapy I chose to do.
Okay.
So, there were others similar. They're not all exactly alike, but they are similar.
So why did you choose Gerson Therapy?
It just seemed to fit me. I had an opportunity to talk with the doctors down at the clinic, and they said I could send my medical records, and they would evaluate and see if I was a good candidate. And I just felt it was the right choice for me. It was intuitive.
And was this all out of pocket then, or did your insurance cover any of it?
Absolutely no coverage. Unfortunately, our medical society won't accept nutrition, healing in that way as a recognized medical procedure or field. Or
So you paid out of pocket.
we paid out of pocket. And I was just going to say, I didn't think it was that expensive in the whole scheme of things.
Well, that's good for your health. Now, did you have to go there, or was it something that you did out of your home? How did you go through the protocol?
Well, it's interesting. There are options. I didn't have to go, but we felt we wanted to go. I started the therapy immediately at home. But I always, you wonder, am I doing it properly? There's some supplements as far as nutrition that I was taking. And I just felt I wanted to go and be sure that I was doing it correctly. So I chose to go. But there are Gerson health helpers out there, and you can hire them to come in your home and stay with you for a week or two and get you started, because it's a very involved and intense therapy. It involves a lot of juicing. We started with 13 juices a day.
Wow, 13 juices a day.
13 a day, all organic.
Okay, so organic juices. So what were you juicing?
Well, one can go online and Google Gerson Therapy and get the exact recipe. I might leave something out, but if I couldn't find it organically, I was told to leave it out. But things like Swiss chard and green pepper and different lettuces and green apple, red cabbage.
So was there different recipes, or was it like the same recipe that you had to have 13 times?
My green drink was always the same recipe.
Okay.
And then there was also carrot drinks and carrot apple drinks.
So you had 13 of your green drinks, and then you had, or was it 13 total?
Total combined.
And you had to do that every day?
Every day. Yeah.
How could you get 13 drinks down? I mean, that just seems like so much.
Well, they're delicious, and the whole idea behind the Gerson Therapy is to raise your alkalinity, because cancer can't survive in an alkaline environment, and the doctor's goal was to get my alkalinity to 8.0.
Okay.
And it wasn't really that low, but it was an 8.0.
Right.
But it did go up, and I got it to 8.0, and at one point it even got to 9.0, and that's too high.
Okay.
But it comes down in a nanosecond. You eat a couple cranberries, and you're go right back where it belongs. Yeah.
So did you eat anything else while you were doing this?
Yes.
Okay.
The diet was restrictive compared to what I was eating prior to.
Which would have been like, what was your diet beforehand, just to give us an example?
Not bad, but
Okay.
I would have beef and chicken and potatoes, and because I knew about nutrition, I knew the importance of live food. But I got to a point, and I believe this is why maybe the cancer developed or got hold of me, is because stress is such an important factor. So, because of, I think, my good nutrition, I was able to, keep it at bay for a lot of years.
Well, yeah, you had the spot or the lump for 10 years. So now stress. So how was stress a factor? We hear this a lot, but like, what was your story with stress?
Well, I think it was just about, maybe relocating, going someplace in the winter, leaving Vermont, making decisions about that. My husband's health, he's a Vietnam vet, so that was up and down. Now he's great, but So just different things, and everybody has stress, and it affects everyone differently. But it is such an important factor in our health.
Yeah. Now, with the drinks and changing the lifestyle, did your husband change his lifestyle with you? Or, because you said he's healthy now too, so did he make changes?
Well, some, but
Okay.
not to the extent I do.
He didn't do the 13 drinks?
He did a few drinks.
Okay.
When we went to the clinic, you bring a companion.
Okay.
And they gave him a few drinks. Of course, not all the drinks. It's very expensive and labor intense. So if they were feeding every companion the drinks, it probably wouldn't be economical. But he understood, and he did. And he did start juicing with me. And today I continue to juice every day, a live green drink. And he'll take his, couple ounces I get him to take.
How did you reduce your stress over this period?
Well, over the period of my treatment, I think it's a combination of the support I had and spiritually. I think it all combines. Setting yourself up with education, the people you surround yourself with is always important, and also I put God in my life, and that's important to me. So I think it's just a combination of knowing that sometimes you're not always the one at the wheel.
Right. And did you change your sleep?
No, I've always been a good sleeper.
Oh, that's good. And what about exercise?
I've always exercised.
Okay.
And now, when you go through the Gerson Therapy, they recommend that you slow down with that, give your body a chance to heal. As you're flooding your body with all this nutrition, you go through a detox.
Okay.
And I totally understand that because it's what I do. I help people through nutrition to cleanse their body of toxins. So I was going through a detox, and the doctors thought that I should rest. At most, early on, I was just doing a walk, a short walk, and then I couldn't wait. I'm like a horse with and the racetrack waiting to go. So I started a little bit here and there, and now I'm back to everything I did before.
So everything you did before, so you're able to do cardio and weights and all of that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Wonderful.
I have my golf clothes on right now because I'm golfing after
So
we're done.
Perfect. So, and you're completely free of breast cancer?
Yeah, I had a couple mammograms, since every year I have a mammogram and sonogram if they need to look at something more closely, and everything is a big thumbs up.
And how long did it take from start
The
to finish?
therapy is 2 years.
Okay.
It's
so
a 2-year therapy, and you don't take 13 juices for 2 years.
Thank goodness. I'm glad you clarified that.
So, but as you're going along, they're monitoring your blood work all the time. And when I came home, every month I had 4 pages of blood work that I would send to the clinic, and they'd evaluate it. And but as the time went on,
very controlled and
it's
very
much
science.
so. Yeah, it's all science.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing your journey. And what I'd like to do is, if anybody would like to find out more information, can they contact you?
Absolutely, yeah.
And how do they do that?
Probably email would be best, and that address is Kathy with a K, Kathy, D as in Domenicucci, Kathy D, VT, V as in Victory, T as in Thomas, at me.com.
What other changes to your diet did you make?
Well, on the Gerson Therapy, you eliminate a lot of things from your diet. Animal proteins, fish proteins, actually nuts, which surprised me. I had lots of veggies, pretty much all the veggies I wanted to eat, cooked and raw. Most fruits I could enjoy. I eliminated all dairy and eggs. Occasionally, I was able to integrate eggs back in the diet and nuts. But for the first year and a half, it's pretty much no sugar, no animal protein, no dairy, no wheat flour. I was able to I found a baker that would make me rye bread, real rye bread, all rye flour.
One.
So yeah.
Pretty drastic, but hey, it worked.
Hey, it worked, and I understand the value of organic food and staying away from the pesticides, so all the food I ate is organic and still is.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Kathy. Your journey is amazing, and I'm so glad that you're healed.
Thank you.
To share your journey to wellness or find out more information, visit our website at worldwellnesseducation.org. We make a difference one story at a time.